Hello and welcome to the Poorhammer Podcast, episode 76. I'm your host, Brad. This is my co-host, Eric.
How's it going?
My head hurts so bad at this point, I can't read the episode number.
Hell yeah!
Let's get started.
Sounds good.
Alright, a quick bit of news before we actually get into the topic.
Okay.
The day this episode releases on YouTube, we will have a YouTube community post on our channel that you can go to and submit questions for next week's episode, where we will be dragging our editor on at gunpoint to talk about any Q&A stuff you guys have for us about us, the podcast, our opinions on Warhammer stuff, the YouTube channel in general, and making videos, whatever. If you can think of it and it's funny to you, or you are entertained by the idea of us answering it, feel free to ask it. I will then completely ignore you and answer questions that I like.
You could also provide answers and we'll give you the question.
Ooh, that's a spicy one too. All right, with that out of the way, I would just like to thank you all so much, and we can get into the topic proper now. For real this time.
It's about damn time.
Stop pretending StarCraft is cool. It's a piece of shit game.
Fuck you.
Speaking of piece of shit games...
Is Warhammer a piece of shit game, or is Warhammer our piece of shit game? Think about that, besties.
It just starts off. All right, so we're admitting we're washed up this week. We've got no more content, no more ideas. We're doing a rerun episode.
Yay, everybody loves rerun episodes.
So back in February of 2022, 18 months ago, we released episode 14 of this podcast in audio-only format.
Pre-YouTube days.
So our opinions have changed. A couple new armies exist that didn't at the time, so it's time to revisit the subject of that episode that I'm sure you're all very aware of and not annoyed I haven't mentioned yet. That is...
to continue to derail it a little bit further,
we
there's
love
also armies
podcasts.
that have
Let's go.
left.
Ooh, that's a good point. Wow. Low blow. All right, so the episode topic itself was which armies are the easiest to paint. So let's begin by breaking down the tiers we can put every one of these factions into.
Oh.
So going from the bottom to the top, we're starting out at the bottom.
All right.
These are going to be factions that we label as not even at gunpoint.
Okay.
This is for the worst of the worst, the things you absolutely at no point want to be stuck painting.
Yeah, for general reasons of it's just miserable.
For one reason or another, but we'll get into it when we're talking about each faction.
Yeah. From there, it goes up to the exciting, the Chaos Trim Zone.
Which, it's what it says on the tin.
Well, and the opposite.
Okay.
But yes, we'll get to that.
The one up from that is called airbrush check, which is...
Guys, are there like factions that you would never do? Like you never play just because it's that difficult to like paint? Are there ones that you would never do at all? The clowns? Oh, that's fair. I think the clowns would be hard to paint, huh?
is a very important tier based off the last time we attempted this episode.
You got your airbrush ready? From there, we go to the B tier.
It's a complicated one, but we'll get to it later. Then we go up to painless, which is a tier for armies that are actually not terrible to paint. They're just downright fine.
You get some good enjoyment out of it. And then we go to the paintbrush liquor approved tier, the epitome of this tier list. Where
Guys, do you lick your paintbrushes? Besties, do you lick your paintbrushes? I don't want you to get like lead poisoning or whatever the fuck's in like, or whatever the fuck's in like paint nowadays. Of course, it's bad for the brush. How about your brain cells? Isn't there like, I don't know, fucking lead poisoning? What's wrong with eating paint? I don't want you to die. Thin your paints at any cost. How are you gonna know the colors with your eyes? I licked my paintbrushes. Don't fucking die, besties. Don't drink the paint water either. Don't fucking do it, guys. It's acrylic paint. It's not toxic. You know what? Sure, besties. If you won't die from it, I don't see a reason to be like, hey, don't fucking do that. I get lead poisoning from work. Bestie, no. It helps to keep the point sharp. I guess. Shit, okay. Well,
do we start? Do we start at the bottom and work our way up, or do we just randomly choose armies and put them somewhere?
I'm randomly choose armies.
Oh,
to
that
keep
looks so
people
sick.
guessing the
Painting
entire
it
way
looks so
through.
cool.
Brilliant.
I'm randomly choosing gene stealer cults who are going into not even at gunpoint because They are without a doubt the absolute worst faction to paint. They did nothing comes close.
Do you
if
agree?
You are attempting to paint to a good standard, I'm not going to say like parade ready standard or golden demon or anything like that, but you're trying to get your army on the table and not feel embarrassed when people look at it. Gene Stealers is the hardest to get this done with.
And I think that's the assumption that we're going to use for all of these is like get it ready and not embarrassing, but not like insane. Yeah, Gene Stealers is brutal.
And we're not going to look at these from this army is really easy, but this one model is a living nightmare, so it should go down a tier. We're going to ignore that fact. And we're not going to look at these from this army sucks to paint, but here is a single speed painting method that makes the army.
Wait, this one, okay. This one has like gradients on it. So this looks like it take like a ton of time. Holy shit. Are you know some pencil eaters? I heard my friend choke from drinking the paint. No, don't drink the paint, guys. Stop. This one looks really hard to paint, okay? As like a painting noob, the only painting I've ever done was when I was like 7 and I took art classes, but then like dropped out because my mother determined I didn't have the talent for it and she didn't want to waste money anymore. That is all of my painting experience, guys. And as a painting noob, all I can say is this looks hard. This looks really fucking hard.
Army sucks to paint, but here is a single speed painting method that makes the army okay if you're okay with this specific paint job.
Yeah, these are general feedback kind of things.
Your typical paint job.
And it comes down to the fact that this is like a hobby. So if you want it to be complicated, you can make the painless ones complicated.
Yeah, this is for your typical average Joe paint job.
Yeah, this is kind of just like a general expectation for the army, but caveats and all of that aside, Gene Stealers are fucked.
Damn.
The average Gene Stealer list runs between 60 and 100 troops, and those troops, if you pick up a neophyte hybrid and look at the details on that model, even if you like try to keep, okay, his pants will be one color, we'll only color in the shin pads, and then we'll do the armor and the Saiyan armor booby plates separate.
That's a lot for that many models.
They all have exposed skin everywhere, complicated ragtag guns.
Yeah, so you can't just like give it a base coat, a couple highlight things, and then wash it, essentially. Like, no.
It's a slog, and I have not painted a single Gene Stealer yet. I've looked at them, but I haven't touched mine.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I don't know a single person who would defend Gene Stealers going higher, but yeah, not even at gunpoint.
Which is entertaining because within the next year or so you're going to start that project. So
it's okay because I made that the project. It's not me trying to rush done my army. It is me picking up an army to be a giant project.
And you're a masochist, but moving on.
Let's talk about the new guys, World Eaters. That way we're not predictable this time.
Ooh, nice.
World Eaters are going in the Chaos Trim Zone.
Yeah.
Hint, they won't be alone here. You can probably figure it out.
This looks really complicated too. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I guess you don't have to paint it to like such detail, right? Wait, you know what I kind of want to do? To the Warhammer people that are in my Discord server, I want to create like a thread where people can like take photos of like their armies and post it there so I can see what like average painting looks like, you know, like not like professionally done for like for the sake of selling a model, but like what people actually, you know, do it, like how people actually paint that shit. Should I do that? What do you guys think? I'm genuinely curious because I'm assuming that all of the pictures used right here are like pictures direct from like Games Workshop, right? Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, I was just thinking like this looks professionally done. But what if you're just a guy who just, you know, who likes playing Warhammer? You don't do a terrible job, but it's also not terribly impressive, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's not insane, but it's also not that bad. I kind of want to see what that standard is like. Just a guy paint jobs. Yeah. Yeah, I know some people can do it really well, but like, how do the average ones look like? That is what I'm curious about. Because these look really cool. These look like they have a ton of detail. But I'm also positive that someone like, and like a proper like artist, you know, proper like painter painted this stuff. With like no like crunch time where, you know, they have to like, oh, I have to get this in time for like a tournament, so I'm just gonna do my best kind of vibe. You know what I mean? I don't play the game, I just build and paint. Yeah. I like that aspect of it, honestly. I think that aspect of it is really cool. The fact that you just get to be creative in like your own space.
Trust our audience with a base level of intelligence on what's going to end up in the Chaos Trim Zone.
Stop! This like bear thing is so cool too. I think it's a bear. I don't fucking know. I think it's so cool. Shit. Sheesh. It's kind of like, I kind of love how like the red is separate from like the guy's red, because his red is more vibrant, and this guy and like the bear's red is like a little bit more like matte-ish. Is it an ox? I thought it was a bear. Huh. Well, whatever it is, I guess I'll do like a YouTube thread, and then people can just like post their pictures. So like post your Space Marines, but like don't post like a picture of your dong or whatever. If you do, I will actually beat you up. Trust. It looks like a rhino. Wait, I do see it. I love this little guy.
Yeah, it's almost like a lot of Chaos models have very similar theming.
Wait, I love
and
this
that
guy
makes them
too.
Annoying.
World Eaters aren't hyper elite by any means to save them from this fate. They're pretty standard Space Marine level amount of painting required. They aren't like a big vehicle faction or anything to make them go anywhere else. They're just a pretty bog standard.
Yo, stop. Is that corn? Wait, no, that's not. No, wait. That's not corn. Wait, is that corn? Wait, that is corn. Yeah. In your day, Sigmund Freud was one of the leading psychologists. Is that? Yeah, I was like, wait, is that Corn or Angron? That's Angron, the angry guy. Oh yeah, the one who's angry because they put fucking nails in his face, in his head. That's why he's angry. Yeah, makes sense. Checks out. That checks out.
Lots of infantry filled with lots of trim work.
It's not the worst trim work, but it's also not going to be particularly enjoyable. But hopefully we'll see more from this faction in the future, and maybe it changes. But
Okay, we're done surprising people by talking about something new, so that we're not going in the exact order we did last time. What do you want to do next, Eric? Who would you like to talk about?
Tau.
Tau? Are we literally just going to go up this? Okay, I see what you're doing.
Damn it, he figured it out already.
Oh?
Tau, the last time we did this episode, we talked about it at length. Tau live in a superposition between not even at gunpoint and painless. They float between these two states depending on whether or not you own an airbrush.
Okay.
Thus, our invention of the airbrush check.
Because one of the most annoying things with Tau is to make the brush marks disappear.
Yes, if you have a bunch of giant flat panels, especially with notorious paint colors, if you're trying to do box art colored Tau,
Oh god, white.
that would not be fun to try painting by hand.
Especially if you're using GW white.
Don't do that to yourself.
Okay.
You're worth more than that.
Yeah, we'll give GW shit for some things that they might not deserve their whites. On the other hand, they deserve all the shit they get for that. But if you have an airbrush, all of those brush mark problems go away.
Yeah, honestly, Tau is very reliant on whether or not you have an airbrush. And we're going to be doing a whole episode quite soon as our first foray into talking about hobbying. And it's about a certain topic that might be relevant to what we're saying right now.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Is that true, guys? Do you guys agree that like Tau is like very like dependent on airbrushing? I think the mechs look cool. I feel like I don't know why I had it in my mind that because it's like white, they wouldn't be that hard to paint. Like, cause it's like mostly white, right? So you just like spray paint that shit like white. But painting large flat surfaces is hard. Really? Oh wow! I would have thought that like the details would be harder. Mostly one color. Yeah, I was just thinking if they're mostly like one color, isn't that like alright? Isn't that like fine? Just like, you know, just like dunk that shit in like white paint and call it a day, nah? Your brushes are for cowards, bestie, no. I rattle can my Tau. Ooh. Flat is harder mostly due to how paint sets. Okay. Guys, now I'm scared. When I paint my first set, should I buy like 2 just in case I fuck one up? I'm not buying an airbrush, right? First of all, because like, I mean, I'm a fucking casual, dude. I'm a filthy casual. Buying an airbrush to paint like 1 box of like Space Marines feels excessive. Also, I don't know how I carry that overseas with me, because, you know, I want to move eventually. So I'm just gonna sit here with a paintbrush.
But yeah, if you've got an airbrush, Tau are going to be pretty fun to actually paint up. If you don't, it's going to be pretty miserable. Moving on from there, let's do Space Marines.
No.
Damn it.
Stop it.
Ooh, Space Marines.
Fine. What do you want to do next?
Let's talk about orcs.
Okay.
Where do
Okay.
you want to put orcs, Eric? What is your take?
Well, orcs are fascinating because there's so much customization and so much that the army tries to like force you to do customization and force you to embrace the nonsense. It's really kind of painless just because it's fun.
That's basically where I assumed they were going. I just wanted to make sure that's your opinion on it.
The thing is
Okay.
like the default generic you can do pretty easily. Orc skin's not that difficult.
A Plague Bearer flesh contrast over just a Zenithal skin will instantly get you GW's orc skin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that green. I like it a little bit different, but
There's a new one in the new contrast you could use that's very similar. But I love that pale, almost to yellow green that they've got, where it's not that like comedy cartoon orc green. It doesn't look like Shrek.
I like the Shrek look.
It's awful.
Wait, guys, what do you think of the Shrek vibes though? Can just to understand how it works. That's true. Probably use it like one time and then like I don't know. I slipped in Warhammer during COVID, but I did. I genuinely think that like Warhammer is interesting enough that it transcends like gender. Right, but you have to be very selective about what videos you're watching to get into it. Because if I'm gonna be for reals, if I had watched one of the Luton videos at the start, I would not have understood anything. But because I watched Bricky's video, which is very watered down from what I understand, it's a very watered down version. It was very easy for me to understand, and it was interesting enough to keep me in, to actually do research. But if I went straight into one of the other, like, really hyper detailed guys, I don't think I would have, like, understood it nearly as much.
Brace it. But either way, it is reasonably easy to get to that point. That said, because orcs as a faction is a hobby faction, kind of push you to do kit bashing, push you to do interesting, unique takes on it. You can go as deep and as complicated as you want. And I think that's why it stays in the painless tier, because you get to choose how complicated you want it to be.
Yes.
It could be super easy. It could be fucking difficult as hell, but you've made the choice. So long as you know ahead of time, like, yeah, I'm making this complicated, I want to do that, then it's going to be painless because that's the choice you made. That's why you're doing it.
I'd go a step further and say they also have the safety net. Orcs that are painted badly is just kind of funny.
Yeah, that's true. It very much is orky. It's super easy to do battle damage.
I want to get this and just paint it pink like a fucking, like, Barbie car, right? And then just do the orcs in, like, various, like, preppy shades of green. I want to do a Barbie orcs, guys. Is that insane? Is that dumb? No, right? Yeah. Yeah, like the Barbie dream car. But, orcs. No, that rules? Hell yeah! Okay, guys, it's official. We're gonna do a Barbie dream car, guys. Pink is just another shade of red, so it makes it go faster. Barbie dream car riding into war. Not the first to do it? Hell yeah! Okay, great. Hell yeah, great. Okay. I am not being creative, and I like that.
I didn't fuck that paint up. Not at all. That was intended.
An orc painted that. Have you seen an orc paint?
That is very true. It does have a fantastic safety net.
All right, to get another one of these out of the way, Death Guard. I think Death Guard originally we put as like an A tier because of the trope of Death Guard can just be dunked in Agrax Earthshade or, a custom brown wash.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
Our local Death Guard player had words with me after that episode went live. He told me to shut my mouth. I don't know how miserable painting Death Guard can be. Every single model, as he proved, as he put them on the table and forced me to pick them up and look at them, every single Plague Marine sculpt is entirely unique and has all sorts of things that are only on that sculpt that you have to figure out how to paint.
Okay.
Yeah. It's bad if you want it to look good. It has a higher floor than a lot of other stuff.
It's not even that you want it to look good. You just want it to look non-embarrassing.
Exactly. You don't want to feel bad about it. And it's a lot harder to raise. I get it. And they still have all the trim work of CSM or World Eaters. They're not rubric level bad, but they're down there. I get it.
They've got a decent amount of bits that you gotta deal with.
It's definitely one
Ooh.
of our revisions from our last take at this.
Yeah, there were words had and acceptable. Let's go
Imagine being
to
threatened.
one of the knights. Which knight do you want to do first?
Oh,
Or do you want to put them together?
we're
I feel like they're separate.
we'll talk about them each alone, and I want to talk about
Okay.
the baseline with Imperial Knights first. And
Okay.
I don't know where they're going.
Airbrush check.
Okay, we need to have a serious talk. I'm not going to put them anywhere yet. Let's talk with them off the table. Knights are a faction that you pick up to hobby.
That's true.
Knights literally
Okay.
exist as a way to tempt you to do a project. They are a big, chunky boy, and they are a treat to paint. Downright fun at times. There are 100 ways to approach a knight. You don't need an airbrush at all because, to be honest, dry brushing all of their metal parts and then actually just being careful on the panels isn't that bad. They're not like Tau where they're made of a bunch of straight panels.
That's true. And they're large enough that, like, you can get some fun.
That's something for people who haven't painted an army yet. The larger the model, the easier it is to paint, which sounds counterintuitive. The smaller
Okay.
something is, the harder it is to get it right.
There's less room for error.
Yes. If you're not trying to do something crazy, like some...
This looks insane, by the way. I just want to say, if I had to paint the wolf, I mean, I'm like pretty sure these are stickers, right? I could never get one of the big models. I have like perfectionism, like tism, whatever it's called, right? And if I fucked up the sticker, I'd be so sad. I would genuinely have to put like the model down, lie down, maybe cry for a bit, and then like in 3 days maybe go back and like finish it. The wolf is a bit 3D. Oh, okay, so it's not a sticker. Okay. You know what I mean? It'd be like, oh, this is so sad. This would be like really fucked up if I fucked it up. The decals, yeah, decals. Oh, it's coloring in. Okay, that's not bad at all. The sticker things a bit as you put them on. Okay, I need to like watch like an in-depth guide on how to like do stuff like this.
Richard Gray freehand stuff,
Yeah.
then Knights is very easy to get to a good looking standard. However, I agree, I think Imperial Knights is more of an airbrush check than Chaos Knights is. Imperial Knights does have larger flat panels that are uninterrupted. They are big flat surfaces, well, big rounded surfaces. They're very, very much like painting a vehicle in other armies.
That's true. I mean, I agree with you that they are like the centerpiece model kind of thing that you picked up for making it like your model kind of thing. It's like a display piece essentially.
And it might be the thing that is your argument for, fine, I'll finally invest in the airbrush that Brad keeps telling me I need to buy. Oh wow, it was such a good idea, like he told me I would say.
So I could see Knights going in painless just because it'll be one of those like you've got the time for it kind of thing.
And that's where I'm going to put Chaos Knights.
Okay.
Ooh,
Could
okay.
argue back and forth on which one they go in. But the key difference, having both of them on hand, Imperial Knights have a lot more big flat panels. Chaos Knights love having battle damage on every panel. They love breaking it up with, like spikes coming out of the middle to
Is it lore? So if I'm painting a faction where like battle damage is to be expected, is it okay if I kind of suck at painting? Because wouldn't that be like a little bit more lore accurate? Like, hey, some bits look kind of scuffed, but it's okay because they're scuffed from battle. The trick is to leave the armor off, spray the frame black, dry brush, airbrush gunmetal, spray the armor panels with the major color of your choice, then start hand painting the trims. Wait, that sounds so hard. Oh no, I feel like the Imperial Fist would have like really nice armor then. It's okay to suck at painting, period. Okay, I mean no one's gonna look. If I slap a bow on it, make it kawaii, no one's gonna look, right?
screw up the big flat surface. It can actually be kind of hard to find places to put a big freehand thing. Not that I have any interest in doing that on mine, but it would be difficult if that was a thing I was going to care about.
But at the same time, like a lot of the trim is not super small and delicate, so it's not like the fiddly bits.
Look, I went from finishing my Thousand Suns to the very next model I touched was a knight. It was night and day, no pun intended. It was night and day, the difference of what the worst trim in Chaos and what a Chaos Knight have for trim.
That trim almost fucking broke you.
Yeah, whereas
Whoa.
Chaos Knight trim is a joke. It's just a different panel.
Which is cool. It's still a large canvas, so you get to have your fun.
Yes, and it's not like doing Chaos trim.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that because they don't have as large flat surfaces, it is easier to hide the issues that you would have without an airbrush. Airbrushes would still be fantastic for getting sweet gradients and blends on what there is. That's
How do you get a gradient? Now that I think about it, like I said, I only have like 7-year-old painting skills. Took one watercolor class and then got pulled out of it because my mother decided I didn't have the skill for it. But how do you paint gradients, guys? Blending, airbrushing? You airbrush like gradient? Okay, so I like what? You start with like a black base and then you paint the colors on top of it. That's what someone said earlier. Wet blending or airbrush? I have never painted them all. Don't listen to me. It's okay. You're so sexy. You're so valid and so sexy even if you've never painted them all before in your life. Airbrush at different distance speed? That is insane. Wait, I low-key want to watch a video of someone painting a model now just to see how they do it. Is there anyone that you guys recommend when it comes to like building models? Like someone who makes like really fucking beautiful ones?
That's what I did, but it's a lot easier to brush those than it is for brushing the big curved flat shoulders of an Imperial Knight.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those that, like, at a certain point, every army can get benefit from an airbrush, but there are some that are like, if you have an airbrush, this is a substantial different feeling than if you don't. Yeah, I could see Chaos Knights being okay without it. So, moving on.
All right, Eric, now you can ask for it.
Necron, I mean, spacemen.
Space Marines are the reason we have B tier.
Blueberries!
It's true. I hate that it's true, but it is.
We originally
What
made
does
this
blue mean?
where everything
What does
was
B mean?
its own fancy name because people said we were too boring by using normal letters.
Yeah, I think the last time we did this, it was just like S, A, B, C, and whatever.
Yeah, so we invented B tier because Space Marines certainly aren't painless. Ask anyone who paints them.
There's
Okay.
actually a decent amount of work that needs to be done.
And airbrushes make everything easier, but they are not an airbrush required faction by any means.
Definitely
Okay.
not. Unless you're just painting a shitload of rhinos, then,
Sure.
I mean, at that point, just go to your hardware store and get a spray paint can and call it good.
Yeah, so they're why B tier exists. They are your baseline that we're judging things off of for this for the most part.
It's not that they're difficult or anything. It's just there's going to be some models that you're probably going to get annoyed with at a certain point where you're just like kind of done with this and you've got like 3 more to finish for that unit.
Yes, it is exactly that middle tier with your characters you have fun with, you lose 3 hours and you go, holy shit, I love this character.
Robot Girly Man! I love him. He's so funny. I can't believe he wrote the wrong book and then like fucked up everyone for like years, but it's okay. He's just a guy.
I love him so much. I custom painted that mustache. I spent like 30 minutes. I wasn't even paying attention to the passage of time. He is my favorite. And then you're on your 4th squad of assault intercessors and you've painted the exact same model so many times that you're like, I just don't care. These aren't hard, but I have to finish so many of them because I need to put them on the shelf so I'm done with them.
But at the same time, it's not one of those I can just dunk it in some paint and call it good. Like, there's still work that needs to be done.
And to be honest, at times, because it is such a, I'll say, regimented army, you end up with a everything is blue or everything is
Okay.
red.
Yes, I see what you're saying. Where, like, you're going to want to find the steps to actually getting a model from nothing to painted and follow those steps.
Yes, and at times you'll become bored of, I have been painting highlights on blue for the last 4 days of hobbying. You don't want to be in that spot. It's an unfun spot. It's not painless like Orcs where you're like, what's this knob going to have?
Oops. No, that's actually on purpose.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, there's not quite so much of the just have fun with it kind of thing. There is a certain amount of expectations that they're similar.
And this goes for all
Okay.
successor chapters for people wondering why I'm not wasting my time talking about Space Wolves. They're all right here.
Some of them have some of their own specific things, but lumping them all together is fine.
Will
Do you think that's the same for like all of the chapters? Like they're all like meh levels of like painting? The Nerf gun, honestly, the Nerf guns are so funny. Have a unique thing where no models have to look the same because they want to stand out from their brothers. Oh, okay. Various degrees of beads here. Okay, that makes sense then. Lost in 2000k points of unpainted blood angels. Oh, 7. Unless you pick a heart color like yellow or white. Fuck! Those are like my two favorite like factions. I like my IKEA-tism boys and I like my gotta go Foss boys. Shit. Those are like my top 2. Like if I were to ever build an army, that's who I want to build. And they both are hard to paint. It's okay, guys. That's why we paint them pink. That's why we in our fucked up evil little mind, everything is Barbie themed. Trust. You like Slanesh and want a white army? I've got one to suggest, a corpse brethren. That I've never seen that before. I've never actually heard of that before. They aren't tough. Oh no, pink is hard to paint. Fuck. I couldn't just like get like a pink spray spray can and like just go to town with it. Kit bashing also helps keep it interesting. I wonder if we're high enough level to learn like kit bashing. What is hard because of shading and highlighting yellow? Because yellow paints have coverage problems. Okay. There's some good yellow paints. If you paint them pink, yellow looks great on top of pink. That's true. That is very true. We'll have to think about it.
We'll do a new army because it's very relevant.
Yeah.
So Votan is sitting with Space Marines in B tier. There's no getting around it. It's just the same thing.
I agree.
It's an army of tactical Marines.
Let's hope that
in the future,
when we get additional range to this, there's some more uniqueness.
To be fair, from a design standpoint, they are unique. I'm not going to pretend they look the exact same as Space Marines, but from a mechanical painting standpoint, it is flat panels on vehicles all over the place, cut up by lines of some sort, whether it be just, recess shading stuff, or if it's the like humpy blocks that make up the land fortress, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can see how those are mechanically very similar. And then the dude is just dude in power armor. And there's no real frills to it. It's just, it's a dude in power armor. There's some fun models in each range, much less of them in Votan because there's just much less of them. There's some things you can show off with your characters, doing a fancy power weapon in either one, all that stuff. They're very similar on that spectrum of how difficult or fun or easy feeling they are to paint.
There are some interesting things that Votan have, but there are also interesting things that Space Marines have. So, okay, fair enough. But let's move on to something wildly different and kind of complicated with Eldari.
Okay. Where do you want to put Eldari?
Ooh.
Oh, it's so fucking difficult just because...
These are the clown ones, right? No, are these not? Yeah, these are the clown ones, right? Okay. I'm ready for them to put it in shit tier.
Because GW has screwed us.
Okay, first off, let's pause on Eldari. Let's move over to the Darkkin.
Okay.
So Drukhari, I painted mine. They were a project for me where with most of my armies, it's me saying there's certain things I want to do when I hobby it. My Drukhari army was me learning contrast paints. It was me playing around for the first time with oil recess shades.
Wait.
You learned a lot.
Wait, the wings are so pretty. Holy shit. That looks so nice, guys. What? What the fuck? All clowns are Eldari, not all Eldari are clowns. Oh, that's a contrast paint? Whoa, that's so cool.
Lot.
This was a big learning army for me. Basically, all those things that I saw in YouTube videos, I said, this is the army where I'm figuring it out.
And you've got a lot of examples of trying to figure it out.
Damn.
Show my grotesques and how none of them match because it was me learning different. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Wait, he's not happy because they don't match? I think they look so nice, though. I honestly think they look really nice, guys. Huh.
So, yes. That said, I would downright say Drukhari is painless.
Which is fascinating to me.
Okay.
There is irony, the power from pain joke, but it's interesting because if you don't get hung up on, like, painting every pouch.
Okay.
Or trying to paint the grenade on this guy's waist. If you focus on the bigger parts, they're really pretty quick, especially with contrast paints. Or if you wanted to go like a grimdark style with some streak and grime, play with some enamels, they're very fun. There's a lot of different ways to handle them.
Fair enough.
I would
Those are all kit bashes, by the way. So what do they look like then if they're all kit bashes? I mean, what are... Oh, wow. Okay, I think we gotta look into what kit bashing is. Because now I'm like, okay, these look really good. If you hadn't told me they were kit bash, I would not have expected it. Huh.
I'd say they're downright fun to paint for the most part. There is miserable parts. I did not enjoy 2 nights of painting pants. There's a lot of painting leather pants.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I feel like there's a certain point where it's like, I agree with you, and you're the one that has done it, so I'm going to default to your expectation and your answer, but...
Most of my pain with Drukhari is not the fault of Drukhari. As I stated when we were talking about them, my pain mostly came from I had a couple ideas when I first started out and I was trying different paint schemes, and I fell in love with by far the most difficult paint scheme to do. Do not paint your faction white if you value yourself as a person.
I feel like the only faction that like actually makes up for that is Tau. Like, it's still a fucking pain in the ass and there's better other options, but like I think the white looks good.
There's several Chaos Knights with a good cream, although
cream's different.
Yeah, it's very different. Yeah, you're right.
I feel like Drukhari, if you're able to ignore like the pouches and grenades and backpacks and all that stuff to a certain point.
And trust me, you will, because after 20 Kabalites, you just don't care. It will break your ability to care about random pouches that are on a model that is going to get picked up the second someone sneezes at it.
I think that I can support your decision on it being not too bad.
I will say it's flat out painless. All pain is voluntary, as it should be with Drukhari.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the pain they inflict is not, but...
Do you guys agree, though? What do you think? Do you guys agree that Drukhari is painless? It looks like it'd be painful, but then again, like, I'm not an expert, so I wouldn't know. You guys think it's painless? Cool. Oh, looks frightening. It looks terrifying.
It's voluntary for the Drukhari, though.
Right, that's true. That's true.
We don't care about the lesser species.
All right, so back to the non-fucked up elves.
Ooh.
There aren't any.
Obviously, there's a missing icon in the rest of what we have.
Yes, because we base it off 9th edition codexes. So,
Okay.
yeah, Eldar does include Harlequins.
Which Harlequins are...
Harlequins are not even at gunpoint. They are the only one that I will allow anyone to argue near Gene Stealers, but they're still not that bad.
Partially just
Damn.
because they don't have as many.
Yeah, they're just more elite.
At the same time, like, you can make Harlequins just a fucking nightmare with checkerboarding everything, but you don't have to. They can look really good without that.
I would say the rest of Eldari is probably sitting with Drukhari in painless. There's a lot of ways you can do them with contrast. There's a lot of ways you can do them if you airbrush them, if you just paint them normally. They're mostly elite.
There are some models
It's a
that are
checkerboard.
we're not
Okay.
doing model by model.
Yeah, we can't get into like, oh, this Finecast model is a nightmare.
Yeah, well, every faction has those issues, so...
Okay, how about this? It should be painless, but 8 models are dragging it down to B tier.
8 models, yeah.
A suspicious number.
Okay.
It's like there's 8 data sheets that don't belong and are dragging it down towards not even a gunpoint.
Wait, what does this mean then? You actually have to? Ooh. I can see how it would be annoying because if you look at like this one in particular, you can see that she's got like the checkerboard on the like hood also, like all over the clothes on the hood. Ooh.
All right. You know what? Fair enough.
If only they weren't in this and had their own proper faction that had more than 8 units.
Yeah. Moving on. Let's do another like chaos.
Sure, let's get some more chaos out of the way. CSM is sitting with the other two. That it's what I said for World Eaters. We know what it was going to be.
Yeah, it's not unexpected at all. They're basically the same kind of thing.
There are fun things in these
Ooh.
factions in the Chaos Trim Zone, by the way. It's just they come with the psychological damage of painting Chaos Trim. You have to know that.
Yeah, you can have fun doing it once or twice.
But you paint one Helldrake, and you're changed for life.
Not the Helldrake.
Wow. Okay, let's hop gears a little bit. Grey Knights. Let's hunt some chaos.
Okay, they're too good at hunting chaos. This one was judged by my wife, so this is, I guess, for newer audience members, because we may have a lot who don't know our older content. Eric did not paint his Grey Knights.
Fuck no, I didn't.
Eric paid my wife to paint them for him.
What?
Which is why in the old lore, if you go very far back in time, you will find an audio episode in which we did our first talking about, like, getting into the hobby, and Eric was replaced by my wife.
I was very much not a part of that.
Eric would have had nothing of value to add to that conversation.
Damn. Okay, guys, get a wife so she can help you with painting. That's how you cheat code it, guys. Put the wife on the podcast. I'm sorry, we gotta replace this guy with the wife now. I'm sorry, besties. We gotta replace this dude with the wife.
Conversation at the time.
I had built a few models.
Yeah, you built a couple models, like under 10.
And then I said, fuck it, I'll pay somebody else.
Which is why Eric, unwise Eric, when we were starting this, was like, yeah, we'll just put all of the Space Marines in B tier. I'm like, except Grey Knights. And he's like, why? There's Space Marines too. I'm like, no, because my wife has very strong opinions on Grey Knights. They are like 90% tchotchkes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every surface of that Grey Knight is covered in gribbly bits. There is either an extra purity seal you forgot 2 steps ago and are raging about, or he has a book with a sword within a cream-colored logo for a other thing.
There's a lot of emblems and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yes, and they've got stuff everywhere. Every inch of a Grey Knight is covered in crap. There's no, like, nice, easy, paint it all blue, paint some shoulder pads, and call it good.
No. And every
Okay.
weapon's a force weapon.
Yeah, that one I cheated on with an airbrush. That's another mark against it. But I
Oh.
cheated on yours when I did them.
To be fair, it looks good.
I like yours. I'm proud of that quick hack I did.
The quick airbrush hack looks solid.
That was one evening, and I did your entire...
This is the baby. This is the fucking baby carrier one, right? Oh my god. I want the baby carrier. Honestly. I think the baby carrier is so funny.
entire army.
Which is not that many units, but
It's a fair amount.
it's a fair amount. Which, I mean, that is one of the things that the more elite armies, you don't have to paint as many.
Yes, there's a reason we haven't talked about Custodes yet.
But even then, Grey Knights is pretty brutal, and
Ooh,
hopefully
Custodes.
we'll have some point decreases or something like that in 10th, and it's not more elite than Custodes.
Okay, we're getting down to some really hard to talk about ones. I think
Ooh.
a lot of these are interesting discussions, except for this one. IG is not even at gunpoint.
Oh god,
Oh,
no.
really?
They're not as bad as Gene Stealer cults. They are more mechanized by a long shot.
That's true. They are more mechanized.
If you are voluntarily putting together 120 Cadian soldiers, that's on you. You have brain damage.
I feel like most people that play that faction have that brain damage, so
But that's on them. That's up there with my...
Guys, if you have brain damage, say yes in the chat. Do not call out my IGtism. Oh my god. Okay, well, besties, I don't know how to tell you this, but apparently you have brain damage. You know, it's okay. There's probably a cure for it. Oh no, guys. So boring to paint. Oh no. My tism, not your tism. Kind of harsh to say someone's paint, they'll get it done. That's true. But it's so much work. I guess I get it. It feels like a lot of work. But then again, you know, if you're specifically playing a horde army, you are like mentally prepared to do that much work. So hey, I guess it's fine, right? I don't need a cure. I need more artillery. Oh my god. You know, that's fair. I did the work for my boys. That is fair. That is true and fair.
I did this to myself in Drukhari.
okay. Yeah. I gotcha.
They're not as bad as Gene Stealers, but they are within the tier with them of, yes, 60 Cadians sucks to paint. Krieg are cooler, you should be painting Krieg anyway. But that harsh fact out of the way,
There's also the fact that like a lot of the models have faces.
yes, unless you're Krieg, which again is the reason. The Krieg is the correct option.
Oh, absolutely. Fuck being able to see faces. Helmet everything, man.
Oh.
And there are ways...
Wait, so the faces are the issue then? Like, people don't like painting faces. Is that it? You know, that makes sense. That makes a ton of sense. Like, painting a helmet, it would be way easier, huh? Ah, because you need to add, like, depth to the skin. If not, it looks, like, dumb. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Ah, that makes sense. Okay, that makes a ton of sense.
to speed paint even like IG and stuff. They exist. They are more rare. But again, this is about your general painting experience, not can you find a hack.
Yeah, we're trying to get the nice, not embarrassing, you didn't find the hack kind of thing.
Yeah, we're not counting the one recipe I've seen for speed painting Thousand Suns. That is the only way I've ever seen it done, but with two different color themes.
Which, I guess, do you want to talk about Thousand Suns?
I don't know where I want to put them. You think I want to put them in the Chaos Trim Zone but I almost think it goes beyond.
Really?
It's bad, man. It's soul crushing. It's horrendous.
What
I did
bad?
is considered pretty speed painty because I showed you some of the hacks that you can do with how I did mine. If I had to do it legitsies, I don't know if I'd be done yet. And I finished these like almost a year ago now.
Yeah, I was like, that's been a while. You've recovered since then, but apparently not.
I'm 2 projects later for the most part, and I have unpainted rubrics that will probably never see paint. They just sit in a box primed black in exile because I own too many.
I was like, you don't need those. There's no list that you're planning on running them.
There are things that I never finished painting, and I will never finish painting.
Okay, I mean, I'm gonna give it to you because you're the one that painted it. I feel like it's Chaos Trim Zone because it's the trim that's the fucking problem.
They're riding the line, but I feel like they almost transcend how awful the name of this zone is. It doesn't...
This looks terrible to paint, because you guys did say that, like, skin is hard to paint, and this is, like, exposed skin, right? Huh. I always prefer helmets if they have them. This looks difficult, right? Some models are all skin. Oh, that sounds even worse.
And tell you how bad it is. But I will put them here.
But it's an elite army, Brad. You don't have to do as many. Come on.
No, the complexity level of painting a single rubric is far beyond what any single model should have. I will put them as the lowest thing in the Chaos Trim Zone, bordering on not even at gunpoint. If you type into YouTube looking for a Thousand Suns speed painting guide, the results are few and far between, and a lot of them talk about paint a rubric green in 25 minutes. That's a very long time to spend on one model for a troop that you're just going to pick up and throw in a bin as soon as it gets shot.
Speed painting Thousand Suns in 60 minutes.
Yeah. Did you Google it?
I did.
Yeah,
that is insane.
All right, then.
When I was looking up, I'm not joking. There are discussions in Thousand Sun Discord server and everything else constantly from new people asking like, hey, what's the hack to make this not a miserable slog?
How do
I want to be in a Thousand Sun Discord server. What? That sounds cool.
I stop trying to kill myself on this?
And the answer is often, you're gonna not want to play this army.
Yeah, just accept that you should pick up another army as the palette cleanser in between finishing.
My Chaos Knights were my palette cleanser. I had fun doing the airbrushing on those, but then I got mad when they were like 80% done about stuff that happened the other week and they all went in a box of anger.
Do you guys just throw like your unused unfinished like models into like a box? Is that something you guys do? Also, oh my god, it's our guy
I'm talking about balance
Magnus
today right now.
Yeah,
TD Tusk.
right. Definitely not at all. Okay, what do we got left? You want to do...
AdMech have to go in the not even at gunpoint zone. Our AdMech player won't let me put them anywhere else.
They do deserve that.
They're bad. It's not Gene Stealer's bad, but they're right there. I've looked at him. He has done a good...
Leah, I am so sorry. Your babies are in the not even at gunpoint. And you guys agree? Damn. 1,000 Suns and still Miwa can't get a date? SMH? What? Hi. We're watching Warhammer right now. Why am I getting attacked? What the fuck? It's called Pile of Shame for a reason. Ooh. Unfinished is unglued. Oh. You've never heard of Pile of Shame? You know, I have my own Pile of Shame and it's all like Gunpla. So I guess I get that. I do have like a pile of Gunpla that I've yet to finish. So, you know, that is my corner of shame. I paint Custodes and I have a gold spray paint. Oh my god, I just want a singular Custodes so I can make kitten. That's all I want. I just want a kitten. That's it. Pile of Shame, unfinished Yu-Gi-Oh decks. I have staples that I have a set of staples that I will hoard until I've finally decided what deck I want to play. Like, for reals, for reals.
Good job on those models. He made it look easier than it was, but they're right down there.
The difficult part is the AdMech player in our group is the best painter. So he
Ooh.
makes things look easy that very much are not.
And he Tony Starks it. The man painted his AdMech with craft paints before even picking up hobby paints at all. So, like, when he did those, he's doing them in a cave with rocks. And I'm not saying craft paints are terrible, but they are a slight quality decrease over even bad paints in mini paints.
You have to spend the time and effort to use them correctly.
Yes. And he did it before he even learned how to use a normal palette. He's never touched a wet palette for the most part. He had a lot working against him, and he made him look easy and great. I sat with him one evening and he painted up Call in a single evening and he's totally fine looking. He hates him, but we all think it looks great.
It's very much one of those, the army is difficult, and
Damn.
there's a lot of bits, there's a lot of filigree, there's a lot of spindly, annoying things that you're likely to break while painting.
Oh yeah, if you add in hobby stuff, I'd argue a couple things get even lower than where they're currently at.
The
that
reason I
bad?
bring it up specifically for AdMech is because, like,
There's permanent damage on several of his models caused by not him.
right,
I'm not saying I did it. I'm saying he wasn't in the room to prove I did it.
right.
Oh.
And the time he was, I can still gaslight with the best of them.
Ooh.
Why the servo skulls that are like above their heads, so when you reach down with your giant meat hook hand, you break like 5 objects on the way down to the model to pick it up.
Yeah.
They're like invisible until you hit them, and then you're like, what was that? Oh, this model is in 13 pieces.
Yeah. Oh, and some of them are like you hit it and you don't even notice it until there's like bits left on the ground as you pick the model up and you're like, huh, that's interesting terrain. Wait, that's not right. But yeah, AdMech is gonna be brutal. What do we have left here?
Let's do sisters, and we'll end
Okay,
on a lot
the
of high
sisters.
notes.
Okay.
I think sisters have to live here in the Chaos Trim Zone.
Absolutely.
I don't think they ascend up to B tier.
No.
They basically have to end up here somewhere.
Airbrush can help, but it's not fixing anything. There's a decent amount of units that you have to have, and they are intricate. It's not just a dunk 'em.
Yeah, you have a lot more sisters than you have Space Marines, and they've got more shit on them.
Yep.
That's
There's a
true.
decent-
This looks like it'd be a terrible thing to paint, guys. I'm gonna be for reals. If I had to paint this in particular, I'd be fucking scared, dude. I'd be scared for my fucking life.
An amount of faces.
There's a lot of exposed faces, too, unless you try to helmet everybody, yeah.
Actually, you
Ooh.
can helmet the vast majority, but
You can be our psychopath sisters player who put a helmet on Saint Celestine.
which I support. I absolutely support it.
I don't. That may have been a step too far, but alright. You do you, it's your army.
Fuck the faces, man.
I'm a fan of helmets in war zones, but when you're a literal chaos demon, well, order demon, whatever, you can get away with the exposed head. You're already not real.
That's fair. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be difficult to paint army. It's not as bad as the not even at gunpoint ones.
Guys, is putting the helmet on Sister Celestine a sin? Do you guys agree with the fact that it's basically a sin? Yeah? It's mild heresy? Well, shit. I guess this guy's going to hell, guys. Never. I understand it, but it's still wrong. Sacrilege? Oh, is that everyone's waifu? No, yes. Oh my god. She's Chuck Norris, no helmets. Helmets on everyone. A forgivable sin? You know, I don't know how hard it is to paint faces, so I can't comment. But if it's like really hard, I'd just slap with. Okay, God, do I just do regular blueberries? Because like, I feel like most of them have helmets, and I don't really need to stress about that. Oh shit! Hold up, guys, I'm choking. Oh, nothing. There, I choked. It's fine. I'm alive. Imagine Miwa gets a new partner, and every night the helmet stays on. I feel like real men come with the skin already. So there's no need to paint that, therefore the helmet can stay off. But hey, you know, every Space Marine... Yeah, should I just do Space Marines, guys? Ooh, Imperial Fists have helmets too, don't wander off the path. Oh shit, you're so right, bestie.
It's not down that far. It has the exact same types of issues the Chaos Trim does. It
Okay.
could almost slide its way to B tier if it wasn't for the fact that you run a lot more sisters than you do Space Marines.
And I think that's exactly why the trim and like the little bits and stuff are going to grate on your nerves just that much extra due to the amount of times you have to repeat the process over and over again.
It is worth updating this because now that we've got Grey Knights and Sisters here, we have the anti-Chaos Trim zone.
That's true. Hey, look at that. I like that.
All right, let's end on what I consider to be a lot of great high notes here. First up, let's talk Custodes.
Well, we're not just going to immediately jump to Necrons. I saw the mouse hover on that one.
We'll talk about them in a minute.
Necrons.
Okay.
Custodes can be our first paintbrush liquor approved tier. Doesn't matter how much lead paint you've consumed over your life. Custodes win out from, yeah, they're boring like Space Marines, but you have to paint like 10 of them to get 2,000 points.
There is a decent amount of work.
On a model per model basis, yes.
Okay.
They are more complicated than a Space Marine, absolutely.
But you're basically just painting a bunch of characters.
Yes, that is a perfect way to say it. In an extreme case, you will play 35, 40 models. On a more average case, you will play 20 to 30 models at 2,000 points. If you're playing like super Terminator heavy or you, for some reason, have a Telemon, you could have a lot less.
And the Anathema models aren't the most difficult.
They're not as complicated as actual like Sisters of Battle. Sisters of
Okay.
Silence are not as bad to paint.
Yeah, they're going to be more difficult than just general whatever, but like they're not that much difficult.
And you're painting like 5 of them, maybe 15, depending on how much you want to use like a squad of 10 of them with 5 on a back point somewhere.
So just by the sheer numbers, Custodes goes in paintbrush liquor approved. And I mean, at the same time, everybody loves gold.
Do you guys agree that this is paintbrush liquor approved, guys? Do you guys agree? Just to emphasize how easy Custodes are to paint, I painted a full 2,000 point army in a week because a friend asked me to. They don't even look bad. No? You think they're bad? Oh, of course. Drown them in gold, add some color, you're done. I kind of want to paint one of these just to cop out a little. They're all just gold. He says when that's Sister of Silence. Okay. I sometimes like trip up on the terminology too. It's so like hard to keep track of stuff. Anything that requires paint is pain and suffering. Girl, I paint my nails. And that makes me want to cry. Coincidentally, pink goes well with gold. Your dream of Princess Peach Space Marines can live on. Hell yeah! Oh my god! We can just make them pink. The Barbie Warhammer models. Let's fucking go. Hi, Crimson. You beat Devil May Cry 1, you can play a Souls. Like, that's not the same thing. Have you seen the classic Hello Kitty army someone did? I saw like some Wait, okay. Let's look at it. Hello Kitty Warhammer. Yo, stop. Wait, this is so... No, this is so cute. Guys. How did he get the little Hello Kitty on the side? No, stop. This is not real. It's over for me, guys. I'm sorry. I just want you guys to know this shit is over for me. 3D print it? Oh man, oh my god, I so want like to figure out how people do this thing. Like how people do this. Wait, oh look! There's a Hello Kitty at Adepticon. Wait, these are so cute. Guys, is this kit bashing? Is this technically kit bashing? And if you saw this, would you be like, get the fuck out? It's Kitten Bash. Maid Cafe Night? Okay, hold up. Maid Cafe Warhammer. Ooh! I'm just saying, we're gonna do this, guys. Oh, what? This is so cute! No! Stop! Stop! No! Well, shit, guys. Well, fucking shit, guys. We gotta whisper. I don't want my wallet to find out what we're doing right now. This is so fucked up. Oh shit! What the hell? I love this. No! It's over for me, guys. Can someone drop a heavy fucking prayer for my wallet? They're just girls. They're literally just girls. Oh my god. I love this. What the hell? Wait, oh my god, I kind of want to do this, guys. What if we got a tank? What if we got like one of the tanks and just did this? The window sides are so nice. I mean, okay, this is like a hypothetical, okay? Because it's not like I have the talent to do anything like that, but in a hypothetical universe where I do have the talent... Oh, Seven's in the chat for my fucking wallet. Where's my wallet? Shh! Be quiet. I don't want my wallet to hear what's gonna happen.
All right, we'll save Necrons for last. We all know where it's going.
Where are the Necrons going, guys?
Yeah.
Let's talk Nids. I think Nids is straight up painless, which sounds
Okay.
crazy.
I actually agree with you. It's probably lower, probably in like B.
If you had a bad experience, you may say B tier. However, the models, much like orcs, are incredibly fun.
Yeah.
You could
Okay.
argue to some extent they are an airbrush check. I'd give that one too, depending on how you think of it. Because yes, the army can definitely be a horde army. Absolutely a valid thing that I'm sure many people have. Their hordes are often 3 colors.
Yeah.
It's not like painting a neophyte hybrid. When you put one of those next to like a termagant is color for body, color for carapace, and then the eye color / gun color.
Maybe some gun specialty stuff going on there. And
And then you'll do some highlight colors or whatever, right? But there's 3 core colors there. If you look at a neophyte, there's like 35 different colors on that model in a standard paint job.
yeah, one of the things about the horde aspect in Tyranids is they're not supposed to look unique.
Yes.
Okay.
They are the mass,
The swarm.
the wave of bodies. Honestly, design-wise, they are a horde done right.
Oh, absolutely.
You sometimes will run 60 plus models of the same type. But when you do that, the models are simplistic. They look gorgeous, but they're simplistic.
And they kind of like disappear into each other.
Yes.
Okay.
Whereas when you get into IG, AdMech, Gene Stealers, those do not pass that test.
On the other side, there's the big fancy models of Tyranids, and those are just fun.
Those are up there with Knights, the best parts of Orcs.
Yeah, they
Okay.
give you the real hobby, do what you want to do.
That looks so cool, though. I love that. Also, you said made Warhammer. This or this? One or two, guys? The first one? Okay, hold up. We're gonna watch it real quick.
おかえりなさいませ、ご主人様。
おう
Welcome to the night cafe.
I'm just saying, wood. Hot take, but wood. That's what they sound like. That is what they sound like. TTS, baby.
Have fun with it kind of thing.
Yeah, they're your dopamine drip between painting another 20 Termagants.
Yeah.
I could see placing Tyranids lower, but I'm going to put them into painless because I think they do all the things right that the other hordes do wrong, and they have a lot of fun toys for people who want to go the more heavy hitter route.
Absolutely.
Okay, so demons. I have been trying to figure out how I feel about them. I have been
Okay.
painting demons for the last month. I've been sharing some pictures even on Twitter and stuff, which I don't normally do.
Demons have a similar fucking issue that Craft World Eldari have.
What issue is that?
It's not just one fucking faction.
That's not a negative in this case. You're annoyed from a codex standpoint with rules, and I agree with that. I hate demons being demons. But
Okay.
from a painting standpoint, it being the 4 armies is in its favor. Because when you're bored of painting one type, you can swap.
I see what you're saying, but that only really works if you don't hate the other side.
Correct. I've been painting pure Zinch demons this whole time.
Yeah.
I'm painting some new soul grinders. I'm finishing up a bunch.
Wait, do you guys agree? Wait, from like a codex standpoint, you guys don't like it? Is that it? Is that really a thing? I would have thought that they'd all fit into the universe, you know what I mean? I only do pure Slanesh, I never do the other 3. The Slanesh ones look really hard.
of half-done stuff to finally get up to speed.
And I think the section of the army that you enjoy, or the 2 sections of the army that you enjoy, are going to be rather nice and enjoyable. But few people are going to enjoy doing the whole 4 factions.
Yeah, but you don't have to do that. There are pure corn enjoyers who are perfectly happy for the last 3 editions now.
What about the others?
You can play pure corn and pure Slanesh and be happy for the majority of the time you've played since the beginning of 8th edition.
Don't know about Codex. I enjoy painting stuff that takes a while. Coin are boring. Nurgle's funny. Slash is cool. Zinch are burbs. Codex means their game rules. Oh. Why is it every time I look at a Nurgle demon, it looks like a mirror bestie? No, have some self-confidence. You do not look like a Nurgle demon. Your guts aren't spilling out. Only melee, so it's a little annoying while the... okay. Oh, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense from like a gameplay standpoint that you guys don't like it, but...
You're never happy if you're playing Nurgle. It just hasn't ever been good.
Yeah, that's true.
Zinch is the one that floats around, but to defend that, I have been painting nothing but Zinch. I have not felt a drop of boredom. Zinch has so much variety within Zinch. I have used every color known to man to paint these things.
Okay.
I have single models where I went across the rainbow spectrum all over the model and made it come together and work.
That is true. Chaos demons do have the reality doesn't matter as much.
Yes, if you're in any part of demons, you can make a pretty good argument for at least several.
Wait, I hate this one. I hate this one. Why does it look like that? Wait, I don't like this one. Ugh. Guys, send help. This one's gonna show up in my nightmares. If I go to sleep, this is what's waking me up at night. What the fuck is that? He's just a little guy. He's not a little guy. No. Slurpity bagpiper? No. What?
If you're in any part of demons,
I don't like
you
it.
can make a pretty good argument for at least several different color
This one's
choices
cool.
over the course of your army.
Which is nice.
I have seen all sorts of styles. Some people go for like the ultra grimdark stuff. Some people go like mine is, where you're going for
This one's cool.
incredibly vivid coloration.
Yeah.
My Khorne is actually probably not going to go that way. I have not painted my Khorne demons yet, but I've been kind of wanting them to be like a polar opposite to my hyper colorful Zinch.
I'm really hoping that you end up going like cell shaded for...
I don't know. There's just something about how goofy it looks. I'm like, say you liked it in the video you posted today. I think like, okay, he looks very happy, but I kind of hate the whole stomach thing. I don't know. The stomach bagpipes kind of throw me off. I don't know if I noticed it before, but after I saw it, I was like, wait, don't know if I like it. Oh, we pause on the titties, fuck!
for Slanesh.
No, not at all. I'm at a point where I kind of hope that I put off my Slanesh demons long enough that demons is split in 3 years. And I won't have to paint them. I'll just sell them and go buy more of the stuff I like instead.
Yeah.
The only thing I like in Slanesh is my greater demons, and I will always keep those because that's like the only fun way to play all the chaos gods.
Okay.
Well, and I mean, there is a certain aspect of like, even if you don't really like that part of it, you can still enjoy this is the centerpiece kind of thing.
Yeah, and I'm fine with keeping them as an art piece.
But overall, I agree with variety is actually a boon for painting, even though I still fucking hate it.
Look, an airbrush is a really nice bonus. I have done amazing airbrush work on my Zinch demons.
That's the corpse of the predecessor. Show some respect. He's holding someone else's belly. What? That's someone else's... Oh, fuck. Oh, wow. That is... Okay. Still don't know
It's
if I
not
like
needed,
it.
though, because contrast paints are also a really fun way to paint demons. They're like known for being so fun to contrast paint. They have big organic bodies. You can do wet blending with 2 different contrast paints to get sweet fades over the... There's so many things you can do with demons. So... It's definitely above there. I don't even think it's B tier. I think it's flat out painless. And I was debating if it was B tier or painless, and I think it's flat out painless. Because the only time it'll be painful is if you're painting a part of the army you don't like. At which point, stop and examine why the fuck you're wasting your time painting a part of an army you don't like.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, painless with a lesson. I like that. Let's finish off with Necrons.
Okay, Necrons is just paintbrush liquor approved. We're done. It is the easiest army to paint.
Figure out how to use dry brushing. Easy GG.
Do not paint your Necrons with my scheme.
Do you guys
Remember
agree?
KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Do not overcomplicate your Necrons.
Okay.
You are losing one of the key aspects that makes them so fun. That you don't have to give a shit and you can get them painted before someone else is done with their base coats.
Yeah, and it does generally work for Necrons. Like, they're supposed to be the faceless robots.
And
Okay.
there's tons of variety you can get and still get them done that fast. They're so simple to make look good compared to everybody else. There are so many correct answers. There are wrong answers where you overcomplicate them. Do not do my paint scheme. I am angry that I did it many years ago and I really regret my choices.
I mean, it sounds to me like you should strip them all and redo it.
I wouldn't strip them. They're not thickly painted like when you buy like an eBay rescue. I would just prime over them.
Oh, wow.
I've had the thought before, but I won't do it. It's like literally 8,000 points.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Ooh.
I feel like your next project is one of those in our not even at gunpoint tier, so we'll see. We'll see how you do with the, maybe I'll just redo the paintbrush liquor approved army.
No.
Spray them silver. Okay.
We'll see.
If your army is done, you need to have a very serious debate about why you are touching it again. If
Whoa, this one's cool, but the fact that there's a guy makes it look like it might be difficult.
you got to pass your good enough point, it needs to be you seeking out the want to go further. Don't tax yourself if you've got it there.
Yeah, I mean, unless you just want to restart the hobby, I guess.
But yeah, Necron's very fun to paint. Instant winner.
Yeah, get a nice dry brush.
You will unfortunately pay for this by having every one of your fucking immortals, every one of your wraiths, every one of your Lich Guard constantly lose their goddamn limbs.
That's what they're supposed to do,
Really?
right?
We were playing that first game of 10th we played, remember that first fucking weekend?
Yeah.
And the first Lich Guard I dropped shattered his fucking arms off. I despise Necrons and Admech's stupid little tiny limbs, and now I'm going to be doing Gene Stealer cults, so you won't hear me stop.
Like I said, you're
Okay.
a fucking masochist, but it's okay.
Thank God for Chaos Knights, Demons, and Thousand Suns, because if it wasn't for them, I would have only spindly armies that shatter. I'll say, my Drukhari don't break as much as my other armies that are spindly.
Shockingly, it's true.
My Necrons shatter way more often than my Drukhari do. They're built different.
To be fair, a lot of the Drukhari that you've played have been boats.
True, they stay off the table more. And as another thing, Drukhari tend to have small weapons, and part of the problem with Necrons and Admech is you'll have a spindly little tendril, at the end of which is a giant hunk of plastic, which is what happened with that Lich Guard. His arms broke off because he had a sword and shield. And those are more heavy than the Lich Guard.
Yeah, and then you like try and
Oh.
like put them all together so that they're like, you know, a coherent unit. And they're like, nah, I've got big spindly bits that are out in the way of other big spindly bits. And it's like, oh, fucking hell, man.
Yeah, a Lich Guard gauze rifle hooking around another one, guaranteed you end up with two Necrons with no arms.
Yeah, haven't seen that before.
That sounds annoying.
There's a lot of super glue on my Necrons at this point.
Yeah, I haven't had too much of a problem with that other than one fucking sword, which has just disappeared now. So I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Oh,
Don't buy fine kids,
7.
kids. Please make us a new Kaldor Drago GW.
Fucking annoying bastard. He looks so
Eldar
cool, and
Drago.
it could be so cool, and now he just doesn't have a sword.
I love that the sword is just gone now, by the way.
Oh, it's just gone.
It used to be a joke that Kaldor Drago's sword constantly broke off.
Well, you just put it on the base.
But then we were moving the models into the new shelving units, and I picked
Okay.
up Drago from the old shelf, and I cleaned off the rest of the shelf looking for the sword. It is nowhere. It's on no one's base. It's not jammed in someone's armpit. It is gonzo.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's great. I love it.
So Kaldor Drago has an invisible sword until they make a proper model for him, and we can throw this one in the trash.
He's just using his super psychic powers. Just imagine there's a sword there.
All right, on that note, we're done with this topic. Feel free to give us any thoughts you have. Feel free to comment on YouTube
Was that
and tell us
interesting
how
for you
wrong we
guys?
are. And
I hope you guys enjoyed it. I thought that was pretty interesting. Like, I didn't think that much detail went into some of. I mean, I knew a ton of detail went into some of these, but like the really technical aspects, I didn't know.